Hello, team. I hope everybody's doing well today. I just wanted to ask a question. Does the thought of your next grocery bill or your Thanksgiving bill, for that matter, make you want to hide until literally Christmas? Well, if you do, that's okay. Doesn't have to be for Thanksgiving or Christmas or any holiday coming up. But I have some practical tips today on how to save some money and really make that dinner or that feast go well. So, as usual, I have a list that I have here comprised right next to me that I'm going to be going through step by step. And I'm going to be giving you some practical ways on how to save some money and still have a wonderful dinner on that holiday. Okay? If this is the first time that you're joining me, my name is Mel. This is Team You Credit and Finance, where we talk about all and every way how to level up our money and how to save our money. So let's just jump right into it on how we're going to be saving some money for the next holiday that's coming up. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to touch on is you need to actually set a budget. So when I say budgeting, everybody has a specific amount of money that they've allotted to spend. But for the sake of this video and for the upcoming holiday for Thanksgiving, we want to have a specific amount that we're going to set aside that we're going to use to do our Thanksgiving shopping, that we're going to buy our groceries, we're going to buy our home decor, etc. Okay? So the first thing that you need to do is you need to set a budget on exactly how much you plan to spend. And the reason why it's so important to set a budget is because you don't want to go into the supermarket and start doing impulse buying. So if you allot a certain amount of money, you know that you're not going to go over your budget. You're only going to spend whatever you made money for on your list. All right? So that's the first thing is we're going to set a budget. Okay. Now, the next thing is when you set the budget, you also need to break it down exactly how much you want to spend for the food, how much you want to spend for the decor. And if you're not staying home for Thanksgiving and you're traveling somewhere, you need to set a budget how much you plan to spend on traveling. Because as small as it seems, those little things add up if you haven't efficiently planned it out. In other words, you want to plan meticulously how you're going to break those categories down. All right, so after planning your budget, the next thing that you want to do is you want to plan your menu. So if you're staying home and you're the one that's going to be cooking dinner or your family's hosting dinner, you need to plan exactly what you're going to be having on that menu. Now, if it's me, I get a sheet of paper. I don't care if you want to type it online, whatever you want to do, or you just want to do it manual, pen and paper, like I always use. Literally write down what you want to serve. So for example, if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to serve oxtails. We know the cost of oxtails these days. They're very expensive. You're going to literally allot a certain amount of money that you want to use to buy the oxtails. If you want to get your turkey, you're going to allot a specific amount of money to buy your turkey. If you want to get your ham, whatever it is, you need to have a specific amount of money that you're going to be using. Because once you can put that money down, it'll let you see exactly where you're going to be spending and what you need to pick up. The next thing that you need to do is you also need to plan for the ingredients. Now, I know the main foods are there, such as the turkey, the potatoes for the mashed potatoes and the stuffing, but one of the key things that we need to plan for is our ingredients, because the ingredients is exactly what makes the food taste really good, right? So if you haven't allotted an amount for your ingredients, again, you're going to run off of impulse buying and you're going to buy unnecessary ingredients that you haven't planned for. So set aside and budget to buy your ingredients also. The next thing that you can do to save a few dollars when you're having Thanksgiving dinner or any dinner party that you're hosting for that matter is you could do something called a potluck. Now, with a potluck, I like the potluck because the potluck allows you to have a mass amount of food at the gathering or around the dinner table, and it kind of saves you a little bit of money depending on the type of foods that you like. So with the potluck, what it is, how you set it up is, again, you could go online and you could create like a sheet. And on this sheet, everybody that's going to be coming to your dinner party, whoever you're hosting, they're going to sign up to bring a dish. So what you do is you could even start the potluck off. You could put it out there and say, okay, you know what? I'm responsible for making the turkey. And then whoever's coming, wherever the sign-up sheet is, they go online and they put their name and they put what they're going to bring. But what you want to do is when you create the sign-up sheet for the potluck, you literally have to put what is going to be on the menu. So for example, let's say you put turkey, you put the ham, you put the stuffing, you put the mashed potatoes, you put the pumpkin pie. Whatever it is you're doing there, whoever signs up to bring something for the potluck, they're going to put their initial next to it. So that way, by the time and the thing is, you're going to want to run the potluck. You want to open the window for a certain amount of time so they could sign it up. And once they sign up for the potluck, you know exactly who's bringing what. So, and you want to do the potluck before you actually go and get what you're supposed to be putting, because if you know who's bringing what, And again, we're going to trust that people are going to actually follow through with the potluck. But I believe if it's a nice Thanksgiving dinner and people sign up, they will actually follow through. So I'm not really worried about that. But once you know what everybody's going to bring, it's kind of easier for you to plan how you're going to spend your money when you go pick up what you need to get. All right, so you want to do a potluck. I think a potluck is a great idea, and it also allows you to have a variety of foods, because we all kind of eat the same thing during the holidays, but different people, different cultures, different types of foods, different textures, different tastes. It's really wonderful to have it around your dinner table. So think about doing the potluck. All right. The next thing that you want to do is you want to actually stick to the classic dishes. Now, let's not waste any money. You know, I always harp on this channel about saving money. I don't care how you save money. I don't care if you want to clip coupons, you want to do buy two, get one free, whatever it is you want to do. You have to efficiently plan what you're going to be serving for Thanksgiving. In other words, don't wing it. I think everything in life is a plan. And I know we do Thanksgiving every year. It's like a very cliche thing to do it every year. Everybody gets together for Thanksgiving. But you actually have to have a plan exactly what you're going to be serving. So just like I just said with the potluck, if you know exactly what you're going to be serving on your menu, once you put that potluck up, people will select exactly what they want to bring. If you're not doing the potluck and you're just going to be cooking the dinner and so forth, you're going to be providing everything, your family's going to host everything, then you plan exactly what you want. What if you only want to do a chicken breast? What if you don't want to do a turkey for Thanksgiving? What if you only want ham? Whatever it is, whatever you want to feast on, make sure you put it on pen and paper and you plan what you want to do. In other words, line everything up so you know that you're not confused. So when you take your supermarket list, you know exactly what to pick up. So you want to plan your menu. All right. The next thing that I would advise anyone to do, and again, I'm going by my list here, is I would advise you to stick to the classics. Stick to the things that you know people are going to like. Now, I know there's a lot of different foods out there. People like different things, but what it is, you don't want to waste your time and buy all of this food, especially if you're the one that's cooking everything or it's just your house or your family hosting everyone. You don't want to waste your time and buy all these unnecessary foods that people might not eat or might not like. But if you stick with the classics or the traditional meals that everybody always eats on Thanksgiving, or you know your family or your people like to eat, I think it'll also save some money. Because as I said, you don't want to waste your time cooking what people are not going to eat. So you stick to your classics. What are the classics on Thanksgiving? Everybody loves their turkey, right? Everybody, like, whether it's your regular turkey that you base in the oven or you want to do your smoked turkey, it doesn't really matter. We're going to stick to our mashed potatoes. If your family likes to eat rice, or your family and friends like rice, you're going to stick to your rice. Whatever it is that you do, stick to whatever you know people are going to eat. This is not a time for you to experiment and start bringing exotic things or foods that people have never heard of or probably are not going to eat. Because at the end of the day, when everybody leaves the house or they take the food, sample it, and throw it away, you're the one that's going to be left with all that excess food and you're going to be out of money. And you don't want to sit there and grumble on Thanksgiving and say, if I'd have known, I would have never cooked this because they didn't even eat it. But I would think that you would plan something that everybody wants to eat or that everybody's going to enjoy. And how do we do it? We stick to the classics or the meals that people traditionally like to eat or like to feast on Thanksgiving. So the first thing that you also need to do before you go and buy everything, before you do the potluck, and for me, this is kind of the meat and potatoes. You need to look into your own food pantry. You got to look into your house and you have to basically see what you have in your home. In other words, okay, if you want to do the stuffing, if you're going to do the stuffing, and if you like to do your stuffing homemade, a lot of people like their homemade foods. I know that there's a lot of restaurants out there, a lot of places that cater, but a lot of people are traditional and they like to have things around their table that are homemade. In other words, they bring that tradition from a long time ago, and that's what makes the holidays so special. So what you're going to do is you're going to shop your own pantry. Look inside your pantry, look inside your food closet and see exactly what ingredients you have. Because when you see what ingredients you have, you're able to decide what exactly you need to make or exactly what you need to buy to complete your Thanksgiving dinner. In other words, don't just randomly run to the supermarket and start picking up things off of the shelf. Now, everybody's guilty of it. When I go to the supermarket, and many times when I have my list, and you have to remember the supermarket it's marketing. They put things out there. Things are beautiful. They make food look pretty. They have people in the aisles advertising for you to try this. They have different people giving out samples. And that's fine. That's wonderful. It's good to get to know other foods or try different foods from different cultures. But all I'm simply saying is that once you shop your pantry, you know exactly what ingredients you have. You're gonna make a list. And you're gonna know exactly what you need to complete your holiday dinner or any dinner for that matter. Again, this is about planning, and when we plan, I always tell people plan to save, because if you don't plan and if you don't save, then you're going to spend what you don't want to spend. So we don't want to do that. We're all about saving money on this channel and getting the best bang for our dollar. All right. So the next thing that you want to do is, once you've already planned, if you decide you're going to go with your potluck, you want to try to buy some store brands when you're in the supermarket. Now, before any holiday, I don't care what time it is, when it is, I love store brands. This is me personally. The reason why I like store brands, because I think you're getting identical product next to the designer or the top brands and so forth. And you know what? Sometimes the store brands, they tend to be less expensive. And I believe that the quality is just as good. If not, sometimes you might even get better. But that is up to you. But for me, in saving a few dollars, I don't mind buying the store brands. Sometimes the store brands, you get a better deal. You could coupon out the store brands, or if you don't coupon it out, you might just get a much cheaper price than buying the top brands. But if you want to be smart about it too, if you know, like, let's say you want a certain stuffing in a name brand, then before you go actually do your shopping, you do the good old thing, which is what we coupon, right? You coupon and see if there's anything that you could get marked down. Nothing beats couponing. So that's another thing that you can definitely do. All right. The next thing that I also want you to do, or I think would make sense to save a little money during the holidays, is you have to, as I said, shop the sales. You have to use those loyalty cards. So when I go to the supermarket, I always have my card that I scan before. I have it on my phone, or I actually have the manual little plastic tab card that I use, and I let the cashier, if I do self-checkout, I scan it myself. Believe it or not, some people feel that they're too busy to do it, but you know what? Those loyalty cards, they make a difference. I can remember many years ago, and I believe the supermarket chain still does it, where if you started spending your loyalty card, let's say from like October, a couple weeks before the actual Thanksgiving or even the Christmas holiday comes, and if you spent a certain amount of money, I think if you had up to like $400, they would literally give you a free turkey. Now, for some people might say, oh, I don't want nothing free. I could afford to buy it. I don't care. If it's free, it's for me. I don't care. And you know what? Technically, it wasn't free, because if I didn't make all those purchases to get up to that certain amount in order for them to give me that coupon of the free turkey, I would have never gotten it. So don't think that you're getting anything for free. You're actually not. But it's just a smart way to get you to spend your money and get something back in return for your money. So you want to definitely look into those loyalty cards and those savings where you could clip your coupons. You want to do it physically, or you want to do it, electronic, because a lot of supermarkets allow you to electronically clip coupons now. In case you guys don't realize or you don't know, I love my coupons. Anything to keep a dollar back in my pocket, I use it. And I don't care who thinks it's poor or it looks bad. I know that I'm getting my dollar back, so I'm good. So that's exactly what you want to do. The next thing, because I have my little list here, so don't mind me as I look back and forth. The next thing that you want to do is, they say that you shouldn't really pay for convenience. And what I mean by that is that, again, I know a lot of people are planning for the holidays. They're planning big parties, big get-togethers. And some people say, okay, you know what? I don't feel like I want to do any vegetables or bake anything from scratch. But I think sometimes if you buy your vegetables fresh, or if you want to bake and you buy your products to bake fresh, it kind of saves you a little bit of money rather than those canned things. But I know everybody's working off of time, and maybe you don't have the time to prepare all those things. But sometimes when you end up buying things out of convenience, or you buy things that are canned, you might not end up saving a lot of money, or maybe the food is not as fresh. Again, the goal is to have your Thanksgiving dinner or your holiday dinner come out really well, right? So again, we don't focus on buying for convenience. We like to make purchases that are viable. And what you can also do, especially on the holiday times, a lot of those little grocery markets that sell fruit and vegetables, they have them for good, decent prices. I know we're living in a time of inflation and everything is above and beyond, but at the same time, as I always urge, shop for deals. They're out there. I like good old-fashioned Aldi. You could always find something great in Aldi's, and it doesn't matter where you are. I think Aldi's is in all the states. They have some really, really wonderful purchases that you can make once, you have your card, etc. You just walk into Aldi's, you're good. So you can try that. So we're going to stay away from convenient buying. All right, the next thing that I want to reiterate is that when you actually do decide that you're going to buy your turkey, you're going to buy your meat product, you're going to get your protein. Now, you have some people that are not really big on the turkey itself. So, again, I wouldn't waste my time or my money buying a turkey that people are not going to eat. So, when you do that potluck, you got to find out exactly what type of meats people like to eat and so forth. Or you're going to cook the food or season the food to how people want the food. So if they decide that they want turkey, or if they don't want turkey, maybe you want to get a couple chicken breasts, whatever it is, or a couple chickens, roast them. You want to rotisserie them. You want to jerk them if you want. You want to fry them, whatever it is you want to do with it. You're going to measure it by how much food the person might eat. So everyone, if it's like a decent sized bird or it's a decent sized amount of protein, everybody eats like maybe 1 pound, 1 pound per person, 1.5 pounds, right? So if, let's say you're hosting 15 people and it's like 1 pound, you're going to end up having a 15 pounds of protein. You're going to get a 15-pound turkey or whatever, maybe 15 pounds of chicken or ham, whatever meat you decide to do. So do the math. That's all I'm simply saying. You don't want to overcook with too much protein, and you don't want to undercook by not having enough meat and selections for people to have. Now, I know it sounds like, okay, you're probably like, lady, we're just doing Thanksgiving, and like, why are we doing math in Thanksgiving? But Thanksgiving or not, doesn't matter what the holiday is. Measure. Because when you measure, you know exactly what to buy. When you kind of work it out and when you plan, you see exactly what you're spending, when you're budgeting, right? The other thing that you want to do is when you actually plan the dinner, a lot of people like their homes to look good. I think a really good idea, a really good thing to do is plan on getting your decorations. Now, for me and for dinner decorations, I love Dollar General. Dollar General always works. Doesn't matter exactly where the Dollar General is, any type of dollar store. It's supposed to be a dollar store, right? But I mean, everything is like, what, $2-3? Again, even before inflation, things that already went from $1 into dollar stores. You can get your decor from dollar stores or Dollar General. And if you really don't want to spend the money, or you feel that it's an unnecessary amount of money to spend, or you don't have a great selection in those stores or other supermarkets or other retailers, why not just do the decorations yourself? So for some of you that might have children, or you might have your grandchildren, or whoever, your nieces, your nephews, why not make it a group project? You can simply take a walk. If you want your daily hike, your daily walk, right? Get a daily exercise, because we love self-care. We love to look good and we love to feel good, and walking does a lot for us, right? So on your daily walks, let's say you go out to the park, wherever it is, and you see the pine cones, and I'm talking about clean pine cones. You might see leaves, right? You might want to collect some. You put them out to dry, whatever it is. And you can do some of the decorations around the house, get you a little bit of basket. Make it fun. Make it something enjoyable. A lot of children, especially the young ones, they love to do projects like those. And it's like you're killing two birds with one stone. The first bird is that you're literally saving on your decorations if you decide to go out and walk and pick up your decorations. If you're having fun at the park, or you're just going for a little walk. And the next thing is you're actually making a project. So it's like you're doing two things at once. Now, if this is the first time you're joining me, my name is Mel. This is Team You Credit and Finance. And what we like to talk about, or what we like to focus on, is saving money, earning money, and getting the best bang for a dollar. So I just hope, what I was telling you today, I hope that it helps you with planning your Thanksgiving dinner, or any dinner for that matter. I think it's a wonderful way to make some money or to save some money. Me personally, I love the potluck idea, because if it's me hosting dinner, I get to save a little bit of money, and it also allows people to bring the things to the party, right? And we get a variety of food. So those are just some of the things that you want to look into when you start planning your holiday dinner. Again, please, if this content resonates or you find this interesting, please share, comment. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so. I hope this video made sense, and I hope you really enjoyed listening and watching this video. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful holiday. Budgeting is not easy. It's one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do. But in today's economy, I think a budget is something that every household, every consumer needs. Once you have a budget, it teaches you how to spend your money, teaches you how to preserve your money, and it also teaches you how to put up for a rainy day. And as I always reiterate and I always say, We always want to get the best bang for our dollar. But without a budget, if you don't have that, if you don't know what's going out versus what's coming in, it makes it a little bit difficult for us to really see where our money is. So with that in mind, I hope that everyone learns that having a budget is the essential thing to do. That's where to start. Now, if you are wondering how to set a budget or what to do to start setting your budget, I have an ebook. It's called 10 Steps to Level Up Your Money. You could look at the link in the description. You could also pick that up, and that book gives you some ideas and ways to start preserving your money and how to essentially start setting a budget. Budgeting is something that allowed me to see exactly where my dollar was going. And I always tell my audience that the best thing that for us to do and for us to see our money is to start by leveling up. So again, as I said, 10 Steps to Level Up teaches you how to start saving your money, how to set a budget, and ways that you can make money and make good financial decisions in the future. So with that said, if this is the first time that you have joined me or you've seen this video, please consider liking, please consider subscribing to this channel. And if you get a moment, please share the content. Give it to or share it with someone that you know is going to be happy or is interested in learning how to save a dollar. Thank you so much for your time. And again, I always thank you for watching my videos. It means so much to me. It means so much to me for you to help me grow this channel. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.